Hey everybody, Mike from Mike's Towing, Bennington, New Hampshire. Just doing a quick update today on some additional modifications that have been done to the creature. Since the last video, she's been heavily used, and ultimately we ended up with some sagging in the rear frame area, mostly from ultimately pulling too hard and also doing flat towing out of the woods with the vehicles that we've winched out. Creates a lot of pullback on the boom. And simply because of the angle, we actually ended up starting to pull the rear frame rails towards the ground. So to conquer that, we added an entire exoskeleton to the outside. See it running along the rockers right there. I'll walk around so you can see it. Also some additional frame supports underneath, and changed our design for our stiff legs. In the prior video, you saw the ones that were basically recovery barn jack style. Those end up bending under extreme pressure. So we built these and tied them all in, tied it into the roof, down to the support that actually goes across the entire vehicle and holds the winch from frame rail to frame rail. Brought these down, tied them in, pull the pin, they fall down. There's pinholes inside, I'll show you those. We also made the little feet so they can flip for sticking into the ground if we need them to, or laying flat if we don't want to puncture the ground. I'll just do a quick walk around here of the exoskeleton. Basically, we not only to conquer the pull on the rear of the vehicle, but also for when we are winching from the front. There's an unbelievable amount of pressure, and the vehicle just ultimately wants to just tear itself in half. So you can see we're right underneath all of the fender flares. We tried to retain the fender flares, not only because it's kind of crusty in the fenders and the rockers, but just so it looked a little more finished. So this way we can put full power on the full front winch, full power on the rear winch, and if she happens to rip apart, then obviously we're doing something we shouldn't be doing, which actually is basically all we ever do with this, is things we should not be doing. There's little legs coming in that go in and tie into the frame rails from the skeleton. We have just a couple of tacks along the rockers just for support, but ultimately we wanted the body to float away from it, just like it would if it had a real frame in it. So now I'll try to demonstrate the flipper feet on the bottom of our new downriggers. So if we want them flat, we just leave them like that. We find our hole, and away we go. If we want them to dig in, then we're able to lock these in place and throw another pin that's in the bucket right through, and we lock our feet in place. It's easy as could be. Normally we would pull the vehicle up on the Scotch blocks first, and then set our feet to make sure we take some of the weight off the chassis and let the Scotch blocks do their work underneath the wheels. And you can see the Scotch blocks being shown in the previous video. Sorry, that demonstration of the flipper feet sucks. The guy who runs the camera is not very good at this stuff. So we can run them flat like that, and plug your pin in, and away you go. Or if you want to dig in, the flipper feet go down like that, And if we really start to pull hard, the harder we pull, the deeper those sink in. And we throw another pin in here to lock it in place. That's all there is to it. So that's it for recent modifications. All of this is 2x2 3/16 tubing, except for the outside of the outriggers or stiff legs, whatever you want to call them. Those are 2.5. And the rear frame supports, which you can also see. 2x2. And that's it. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Take care. Be safe.